Peugeot, after seeing its competitors achieve success in the crossover segment, wanted its own. The result was something classically French, incomprehensible, and cross-segment. While the Peugeot 3008 is generally a highly regarded car, 88% of owners would buy it again. Some position the car as a crossover, although in more mainstream markets it's considered a minivan, competing with similar models from competitors like the Ford C-Max, Mercedes B-Class, and Volkswagen Golf Plus. Based on the Citroën C4 Picasso platform, it's called a crossover solely because of its unusual proportions for the MPV segment. The only four-wheel drive version is an interesting hybrid with a diesel engine and an additional electric motor in the rear. While the design of this unusual car may seem odd, it's remarkably successful. The interior is impressively spacious and functional, equipped with a wealth of storage compartments, and the driver sits in an excellent position with the cockpit and controls within easy reach. Traveling in the Peugeot 3008 may be surprisingly pleasant for many skeptics, and the car itself is simply a success. The only disappointment may be the 432-liter trunk, but remember that this is a compact car. Owners value the fuel-efficient diesel engines above all else, but they're notoriously bad with the petrol engines. Operation, opinions, and faults. As for the car itself, as befits a French car, it's plagued primarily by electronic issues. However, it's not a particularly reliable model. What's more, it dates back to a period when Peugeot had somewhat returned to its 1990s form and began building truly durable vehicles. Unfortunately, this was also a period when good petrol engines were no longer an option. Under the hood of the 3008 were designs developed in collaboration with BMW, the 1.6 VTI and the 1.6 THP. Both were high-risk and riddled with flaws, even manufacturing defects. It's hard to choose a worse engine because while the VTI is slightly less troublesome, its meager performance doesn't compensate for the hours spent in the workshop. The THP is a different story, being even worse. However, once it's properly tuned, it offers not only excellent performance but also fuel economy. Of the two, I'd recommend the 1.6 THP. However, if you want to choose a sensible version of this car, you should focus on diesels. The 1.6 HDI is a good option for frugal but undemanding drivers. The 2.0 HDI engine is more powerful and durable, but it consumes more fuel and requires more expensive repairs. Avoid the hybrid version with the 2.0 HDI engine. It drives great and has plenty of power, but uses as much fuel as a regular diesel. And a breakdown with this contraption could result in premature sale of the car. There are even theories circulating that it's worth buying this car cheaper simply because it's the least valuable of the entire range and driving it until the first major breakdown, then selling it for parts yourself, dismantling them, as they are very expensive and difficult to find. There's no need to worry about spare parts for standard versions of the Peugeot 3008, as it's related to the Peugeot 308, among others. Mechanical durability is more than satisfactory, and even the automatic transmissions are quite commendable. If there's no Christmas tree on the dashboard, the car hasn't been damaged by a flood, and there's a diesel engine under the hood, the Peugeot 3008 is worth considering. And, as I mentioned earlier, don't write it off without seeing it firsthand. You might be pleasantly surprised. Common faults in Peugeot 3008. Asterisk minor equipment faults. Asterisk electrical faults. Asterisk typical diesel faults. Asterisk costly failures of THP and VTI engines. Timing drive, injection, excessive oil consumption. Asterisk expensive hybrid drive failures in HYBRID 4 versions. What to look for? Diesel version. What to avoid? Petrol cars and hybrids.